welcome to Parliament, everybody. As I said, I'm the MP for Mitcham and Morden. I don't know if anybody from Mitcham and Morden is here. I've seen at least one person. Oh, so great. You're all particularly welcome. I was born and brought up in my constituency, and when I was first elected, all I ever wanted to do was to focus on my community, to make my area a good place to work, live and grow up in. I've got no pretensions to be the Foreign Secretary. So how did I end up taking an interest in Sri Lanka and the plight of the Tamils? For many years there has been a Tamil community within Mitcham and Morden, stable and well integrated, no trouble at all. Then slowly I started to see people at my advice surgeries, people with terrible stories about their friends and family. My local newsagent in Devonshire Road told me that he had lost contact with his sister. Her family was trapped in bunkers in the so-called no-fire zone. They were shelled every day by the Sri Lankan government. The last he heard from her, the incessant bombing had driven her to distraction. She decided to make a run for it across open land that was heavily bombarded. He told me that he had not heard from her since and did not know whether she was still alive. Then there was the young man who lived just past the station in Colwood Gardens. He told me a horrible story about his aunt. She had been killed, and so badly was her body mutilated that her family had to take a box to the scene to pick up all the pieces. Meeting people like these is why I want to help the Tamil community get justice. What could be more important than obtaining justice? What could be more important than stopping future leaders engaging in war crimes like these? So I'm proud to support my Tamil community and their call for justice. Anyone who doubts why should watch Channel 4's astonishing documentary, Sri Lanka's Killing Fields, dramatically revealed war crimes at the end of Sri Lanka's armed conflict in 2009. The images broadcast by Channel 4 were among the most harrowing ever seen on TV. They depicted what the UN Special Rapporteur on Extrajudicial Killings described as evidence of definitive war crimes. 40,000 civilians, mostly Tamils, were killed in the last few months of Sri Lanka's armed conflict. The UN Secretary General of Experts called this a grave assault on the entire regime of international law. Justice must prevail, and that is why I support an independent international commission of inquiry and to investigate these crimes. I want Britain to take a lead against abuses in Sri Lanka. In 2009, the then Foreign Secretary David Miliband visited Sri Lanka as the fight continued to implore the government to protect civilians. Britain took a lead. As evidence emerged of Sri Lanka's government's complicity in human rights abuses, we ended preferential trading status for Sri Lanka in the EU, preventing Sri Lanka hosting a Commonwealth summit, and voted against the IMF signing a deal with Sri Lanka worth $2.5 billion. This is a lead that we should continue to take. Quite simply, we should be demanding an independent international commission to investigate what my colleague Douglas Alexander calls acts of unconscionable violence. Under international law, there is a duty to provide accountability for war crimes and crimes against humanity. Britain should be at the front of support these actions, especially as Sri Lanka's own domestic investigation was so fundamentally flawed, to quote the panel of experts. We are respected around the world for taking brave and principled leads, just as we did in supporting military action in Kosovo, Sierra Leone and Libya, and just as Channel 4 News did with Sri Lanka's Killing Fields. Earlier this year, I nominated Channel 4 News for the Nobel Peace Prize. In my nomination letter, I said, by bringing to light the breaches of international conventions by the government of Sri Lanka in a bold manner and by piecing together numerous forms of evidence in a coherent way, the value of independent journalism to the building of a peaceful global order in the century ahead has been amply demonstrated. Crimes such as those revealed in Channel 4's documentary deserve to be investigated. Justice must be served. Tamils in Mitcham and Morden have strong values. They work hard and are active in their local community. If I want to organise a local meeting, I only have to contact my good friend Siva, who will bring some chairs in his ever-used van. Here in Parliament, I'm surprised he's not here taking photographs now. Here in Parliament, we have been impressed by the support we have had from the Tamil community. That is why the Tamil community deserves our support now. We should take every opportunity to call upon the international community to bring those guilty of crimes to account. because without that we will never see reconciliation in Sri Lanka, but most of all because the Tamil people deserve nothing less. Along with my Labour colleagues and with Bassett Law Labour councillors, I stand firmly alongside the Tamil people in their fight for justice, truth and reconciliation. I am pleased to meet the Foreign Office Minister this week on these issues and to be meeting the Church of England soon to seek their assistance. John Mann.